That bell ringing is a signal that the track is closing down, so athletes will make their exit on the back straight. Your warm-up efforts are over. Time to exit. Just going live, too, online. If you're tuning in, thank you for joining us. This is indeed the third session of Fred's Race, about ready to get started. We're going to get riders off of the track and gathered up for a quick meeting to let folks know what's going on tonight and get ourselves organized ahead of this action starting up. The Pacific Northwest Regional Track Cycling Championships. The Fred C. Rayburger Memorial Race about to continue on in its third session here this evening. Thank you for joining us. We were just moments away from getting started. You can see some of our athletes making their way in from that warm-up circle will be joining us. If you're online, you get to take a look at the race schedule right now on screen. It might be a little small on some smaller screens because guess what? It's a big schedule. We got lots of races to do tonight. You probably would enjoy looking at it more on velodrome.org/live, where it's a little bit easier to take a full read of tonight's program. After a race is completed, you can also head to that link, velodrome.org/live, to see a folder of results. So if you're at home and you want to follow along with the results as they're posted, you can do so just as well as we can do here in person. All right, and with that, we are going to invite everyone to pay attention on the infield for a brief meeting as we turn down the music. And we'll grab your attention, please, towards the podium area on the infield for a brief meeting. Thank you.
Maybe if you're from out of town, a reminder on a couple of things and for reading something this morning. In general, we want you to finish the race, come off the track on the backside and into the circle. Those of you who are in the circle, please leave room on the outside of the circle so people can get in there a little bit hot, and we all keep moving along nicely. Talk to me a little bit about how you want to handle show and finals tonight, and winners get to go by.
It's not the GP.
Not
the GP. Nope. Come on off.
GP, okay.
Yep.
So, everyone off the back. Your moment will come here later. As far as the program is concerned, it's really straightforward. We are running International Omnium tonight. Points are a little bit different here, and if you're really interested in the nuts and bolts and details, I strongly encourage you to go online because I ain't going to explain it here. But it's a little bit different, mostly owing to the length of the track and how we have to run things here. Our track's just enough different. But Omnium scratch, straightforward. Chariot final for the 10-12. Over there, holders please. Scratches, Keirin Finals tonight with holders on the line.
So I got another one?
Yep.
So if you are an elite racer and you are racing the Keirin, please come hold the Masters riders. If you are a Masters rider and you are racing the Keirin, please come hold the elite riders. This is how we're going to be able to move through this quickly. Thank you for your help. There's multiple heats out.
Always. We can just hold each other. Okay.
Perfect.
Arms around each other at the line.
Zach, you good?
I hear you. Okay, beyond that, one thing on the Omnium tempos, okay, just a reminder, four laps before we start sprinting, okay? That's the format. Neutral lap, start the race, 4 laps of racing, and then we start sprinting. Okay? There'll be a bell at the end of 4. Yep. So you know when all that starts. Point scratch race, elimination. We'll probably have a little bit of an announcement on the elimination races on how we're handling the bell at the end. We've got some procedural discussions to have amongst ourselves. And then we end with points races at the end of the evening. So, a lot of racing. Please, as this morning, be a step ahead of the game. Be aware of the program. Get it on your phone, if that's the way to do it. And be a step ahead of us, okay? Because we do want, when we actually get this thing rolling, we roll fast, and we need you on the rail, ready to go, okay? Beyond that, again, congratulations. Great morning this morning. Let's keep it up. Good at that. Ready? For the,
Let's roll.
juniors that were here this morning. Yeah, thank you. Juniors, courtesy this morning, we would like to see you.
All right, folks, it is time to get this thing rolling. We've got lots of racing to do tonight, and welcome. If you're joining us in person, thank you for coming out and supporting our athletes. We're being here to race. We appreciate you being here tonight with us. If you're online as well, we thank you for tuning in and seeing what's happening here at the Velodrome. Riders coming up to the rail are now competitors in the elite women and the junior 17 to 18-year-old women fields for their first race in an Omnium tonight. We've got the International Omnium going on for 2 groups. They'll be racing in 4 races. The 4th one will be the culmination of their efforts of the first 3. Riders will earn points for placing at the top of these races. And at the end of the night, they'll start a points race with the points they've earned from the races leading up to it. First up, we've got this 12-lap race for the elite women and the 17, 18-year-old junior women combined together in this field. Elite women plus Kelly is a good summary. Thank you. All right, and that starts off our first race of this program tonight. Racing will start out of turn 4. They're in the neutral right now just to make sure they get a nice fair start. Take one long lap around the track, and we'll start them out of the turn on our left side if you're on the home straight with me, as long as they're all together still and nobody gets any unfair advantages to start this off. Scratch races are straightforward. This is a race to the finish line over a given number of laps. We got 12 laps for the riders to sort this out. The first riders across the line will be getting, most importantly, points for the Omnium later tonight. There will be a bell at 1 to go. You'll hear the bell ringer reminding them that they're at their 1 to go mark, and then we'll sort out all the places on the next lap as riders cross the finish line. And that whistle signaling the beginning of racing. Riders off for their 12-lap scratch. Heather Nielsen, the rider to take the first lap, number 111 for the Audi Crikey Sports team, will take that initial bit to get things rolling. Nobody on the attack and no surprise. It's not a huge field tonight, but a good turnout nonetheless for our competitors. In a 12-lap event, you can imagine this kind of on a trajectory of sort of conservative racing to start that continuously, progressively gets faster and more aggressive as you work towards the finish. If the field can stay together, then likely you'll see the couple laps before the bell lap be a little slow again as they all get set for the sprint, and then off they go. So the early goings here are going to be pretty calm and polite as the riders kind of get themselves into position and coordinated with how they're going to run this race, seeing 11 laps to go. I know we're just getting this race program started, but if you're feeling a little thirsty on an evening like now, I don't see any line at the beverage garden. We got $5 pint pours. They're in the beautiful branded Stanley glasses. If you haven't been out to track to check one of them out, it's worth the $5 just to check those out. We will be working on getting an order for those for the people that want to be able to bring those beautiful cups home with our wonderful logo on them. That will be coming in due time. Part of our mission to become lower waste around here. Our reusable cups, thanks to our friend Stanley in Seattle. They are makers of fine products to keep your drinks, soups, and other items hot or cold for hours on end. Check them out, Stanley PMI. You can find them online as well. Thanks to our good friends at Stanley for providing and working with us to make those cups. Right now, the field taking their turns at the front. You can see riders slotting in and out. Alexander McLaughlin, the rider in the black and white, took her turn for a moment. That's Annette Williams finding the front of the field now. Field saying 9 to go as Apex Racing brings Kelly Please up, number 112. Kelly Please leads the lap. You'll see that if you're an astute watcher of the track out here, when everything's calm and polite like this, riders tend to take 200-meter poles, which is half a lap per rider. That's a pretty good distance to take an effort before you pull up out of the way. Now, if riders abandon the pole sooner than that, you can tell that they're being greedy. And in that greed, they won't make the field fast. They're trying to save their efforts for sprints later. They might be thinking that top speed is going to be my key to winning this. Here comes the lone junior competitor in this field. She won't make you think she's a junior with her speed, though. Kelly Darlene, a strong competitor, number 101, 8 to go, takes the front. That's Jenna Lingwood riding up from Portland in the car, not on the bike, to compete today. She pulls enough out of the way. McLaughlin, now the rider at the front. Right behind her, another rider I haven't talked about yet, 204, Alicia Stotts, who's been clicking away recently in women's competition and doing very well. Found Cycling Guild in the dark green. No attacks yet, and again, I kind of was suspecting that these early laps and the early goings, you wouldn't expect a whole lot of aggression off of the front. Lynx Mendoza saying, yeah, Luna from Houston, Texas. We got a fan for one of our riders out here tonight. Luna will be racing a little bit later, tuning in on the YouTube channel. You can always leave a comment, and if I'm paying attention, I'll make sure to try and bring you into the race and into the public consciousness here. The more observant of you might even know you can pull out your smartphone and leave a comment even if you're here in person and get a little bit of on-air time. Mar Edwards finds her way to the front wearing the colors of the Greg's Trek team. Making it a family affair with sister in tow as Alinda Lingwood now taking the front. Five to go as they cross the line that time. See riders sweeping a little bit wide here, taking up a couple lanes. As one lane finds the wheel of Lingwood, the other staying on Williams as we see 4 laps remaining. Chris Stott's turning in, cheering on Alicia in the field. Stott's kind of looking out after each other. 3 to go. So here's the interim before the big sprint. So mostly, again, very protective racing. Nobody going on the early aggression out of the field. Now's the chance for top speed to be on display in the next lap and a half. Watch for riders to be positioning and preparing for top speed. And there'll be a lot of riders that are going to move high on the field. They're going to move close to the rail. I expect as we get into the next half lap or so, you'll see exactly here what we're doing. Riding above the blue line. Be ready to go down the big downhill. That's McLaughlin on the outside in the black and white. She's got a crew hanging up behind her. Alicia Stott's down lower, closer to that blue line, seeing 2 laps remaining. We're going to see some riders starting to get a little antsy in the middle of the field. Up and out of the saddle for a moment is Edwards. She'll sit back down into the sprinter's lane and everyone will flank around her. It's only Kelly Darlene in here that's not in the same medal competition as the rest of the riders. She's basically guaranteed the gold for being in the lone rider in her age group. However, she's still going to race like she's going for the front of this field. There's no reason not to. And at 1 to go, it's Jenna Lingwood out of the outside of the group. Will take the big jump down into the sprinter's lane. This is going to be a huge 400-meter effort as the field was kind of been moving in slow-mo. Going down the back straight, the counter move is coming in as we see the blue beginning to make a closing move here. Coming around the turn, it's still Lingwood on the front of this thing. Annette Williams in pursuit, trying to catch back on. It'll be Lingwood up out of the saddle, trying to hold it on. It'll be enough for Lingwood to take at the front of this group. That's Hillary Luther in the blue to come in on 3rd place overall in the finishing order. The elite men and junior 17, 18-year-old men field are now coming to the rail for their 20-lap take on the scratch race. To be reminded that this is an ongoing competition, so the women are earning points for their later points race at the end of the program. Every race they come out here and compete for is one step closer to setting them up for success in that final points race to end our program tonight. Early men and junior 17, 18-year-old riders offer their neutral, and you can see here as a good size field. This is going to make for a dynamic race. When you get enough racers out here, you get the real feeling of a peloton racing out here. If they're all together, their momentum and inertia can really be felt as they're riding around the track. It also gives the opportunity for different styles to be on display. The first of what will be several races for this field as well. They're earning points towards the later points race at the end of the program. This is just their first of 3 races to set themselves up for the finale. Whistle blowing for our riders as they come out of corner 4 and down into the home straight. It will be indeed the man of the first lap. Andy Baker wants to fly up into position. He'll do just that. Field clicking along quick. You can see their tempo very good here early in the race. When you got a good sized group like this, you need to apply pressure and spread things out. Make it hard on riders that have shown up tonight to race. Don't make it easy on anybody. Number 54. It's Greg Kogut taking a moment to look over his right side for stage 2 cycler. He'll pull out of the way. But stay near the front as he slots back into position. Women, your results from the first race will, of course, set your order for how you come out to the rail for your second ride. The elite women and Kelly should check velodrome.org/live and go to the results folder there, or if you already got it open, make sure to check the results so you know your order for the next race. Things have been quick here. Riders have taken their turns at the front. No attacks or breaks occurring in this large field. As we watch some of our local regulars come to the front now, see Maddie Hers has been a speedster out of the field many a nights here on a Friday night program. Sits at the front for his pole. Ludo Max for Beat Cycling Team takes a moment at the front before he will abandon. Watch out for 17, known as the Rocket, whose nickname he carries. He's a speedster for the Found Cycling Team and known for his ability to finish with some serious speed. Perfect for a scratch race that's bringing him along for the ride. John Bowie takes a moment at the front. Another fast rider that's been taking a few laps off the track here in recent weeks. He's back. The rider in black and green, about fifth wheel now in this lineup. He's number 3. He's been in good form recently. He's been away for a bit here. We'll see how he does tonight. Certainly another rider I'd be keeping my eye on. "10 to 12-year-old girls, can you please come up to the home straight area?" And the men, all 10 to 12-year-old juniors, thank you. All 10 through 12-year-old junior competitors, please. Coach is looking for you. That's Snowbee, the rider in white and black. Peter Snowblin for Airtech Racing. Off the front, trying to make something happen. As he sees the field quickly chasing him down, they'll be in the pursuit to get him back. He'll swing up high. Doesn't want to spend unnecessary energy. Couple riders swinging a little bit high in their positions as down in that sprinter's lane is Richter back at the front again, number 17. Itai Malakoff is one of those junior men in this field, joining in on the fun. He'll quickly swing out of the way. Mario Sandoval takes a very short pull as he'll pull up as well. Super Mario kind of styling himself and working his efforts to be a sprinter. Will try to be in this field, also for looking for a fast finish, trying to keep it together. Chris Wilson at 10 to go, sits on the front of the field, number 39. Fast looking laps here still as we get halfway through the race. It's been very consistent tempo. I wouldn't say it's aggressive. Nobody's been trying to really make a big break off of the front or try to make things too crazy. It's just been quick. And at 9 to go, number 4, Andy Baker comes to the front for a moment. He'll take his lead and then pull off out of the way as Bowie will move to the front once again, number 3. You'll notice that there's quite a few riders in this race, and some I haven't called yet because they've been managing to stay at the back end of this rotational field, this group at the front that continues to rotate in for the poles. They are not interested in coming to the front, so even though there's this thing happening in front of them, they're just going to stay right on it in the back. Watch riders rotate at the front and continue to stay on the back end of this thing. If something were to happen, though, at the front of the field, as large as this group is, if you're at the back of the field, you may miss out on any sort of break happening. So riders have to kind of keep their eyes open and be in the preparedness in the middle of this field in case someone tries to get away from it. Seeing 7 to go. Meinhardt pulls up to the right. Kit Colbert will do the same. Colbert back into the sprinter's lane to try to keep things rolling. This will encourage at least 1 or 2 riders to maybe think about doing the same. You see Kit Colbert down there in the sprinter's lane with the field mostly bunching up at the back end. Chris Wilson and Steven Wilson's now making this lone break off of the front. Single file in pursuit behind them nearly as everybody's pretty neatly lined up. Trying to hold on to the front effort of these 2 riders, trying to get away before this race wraps up. Seeing now 5 to go. Steven Wilson's the rider number 25 in the blue. Chris Wilson in the green for Found Cycling. This is a good effort for these 2 and just their style. In fact, we saw this morning Steven Wilson's putting out some great efforts in the time trial this morning, including a quick time in the 4K. So we know that's the kind of efforts he likes. The field, though, knows he's dangerous in this sort of position, as is Chris Wilson. So they'll do the work necessary to bring everything back together again. At 4 to go, the field's starting to recombine themselves. With only 4 to go, and once again in corner 2, the field sitting up above the blue line. This will give somebody else the chance to keep things quick. This time will be Ludo Max to kind of casually slide his way down into the sprinter's lane. Of course, the sprinter's lane, the area between the red and black lines on the track, the shortest way around the track. That blue jersey, Steven Wilson's, looking down at his bike, waiting for someone else to come into view as the whole field's taken nearly a lap and rest now. It's been a fast first half and practically everybody's survived. The size of the field has not shrunk much. If the goal was to shed down the riders a little bit, we're now past that point and we're now into the final laps of the race. Riders coming on the home straight, we'll be seeing 2 to go, and this is Chris Wilson off the front, making a move. Not a lot of response yet. He's got some help from the home crowd, noticing this is a good move for him. Here's a name I haven't called yet. Very smart racing in the middle of the field. The laser's been holding on to his efforts. The rider in the orange helmet, one of our junior competitors. He comes to the front. He's ready to go get this rider, but he needs some help. So the field's sitting up. We still see Chris Wilson, the rider in the lead position over in turns 3 and 4. He's going to make the round. He's still way out the front. The field's going to have to get up on their pedals and make the move. Here it is at 1 to go. Bell's ringing for Chris Wilson and all the riders. Let's see who can come across the line first. Chris Wilson still on his effort, looking very strong. Here comes the chasing field. John Bowie, number 3, pulling hard. Andy Baker comes into position as well. That's going to be Richter, the Rocket, in third wheel. Here comes Matty Hers into position. And Brando, the Mando, for Found Cycling, also in on this sprint. And here goes the Rocket. He's going to take off around the right-hand corner. Matty Hers also accelerating, trying to find the wheel. In comes the dark green. It's going to be the Rocket at the front of the field. Can Matty Hers find it around the outside? It's going to be Richter for taking the first race. Hers will take the second place finish. Andy Baker for the third place finish. I think it's going to go Nolan Adams for fourth. And Brando the Mando, fifth across the line. All right, good finish there on this scratch race for the elite men and junior 17, 18-year-olds. Do be reminded, of course, this is just the first of many opportunities for these riders to compete. At some point, you got to think, if you're out there and you're putting in such a big effort to win the sprint, save it for another race. Coming on the track now, we have a series of races for our juniors. The first up is actually our 10 to 12-year-olds racing in a chariot final. A chariot is a one-lap race from the finish line here. They're going to have holders, so they are going to get thrown in for one fast lap around the track. Medals on the line when they get back around for our fast finishing juniors. On deck, 13 to 14-year-old juniors for the scratch race. And off we go for this chariot final. One quick lap for the youngsters all the way around the track. All right. Putting our hands together for the juniors coming across the line. Nicely done. Keegan Fairbanks, the first rider coming in across the line. Congratulations to him and the rest of our young riders for a good race. "13, 14-year-old juniors for your scratch race to the rail." Get a close-up look here of on the live string of our starters coming down the rail. Again, these are 13 to 14-year-old juniors competing in what will be a quick scratch race, just 3 laps around the track. Smile, you're on TV. YouTube TV. Off for their neutral, our youngest riders in a scratch race tonight. So you'll see them in this neutral lap to start, and we'll start them out of turn 4 like you saw for the riders in their Omnium in their first race not too long ago. They just got the whistle, so the racing can now begin. 3 fast laps, and that's exactly what's in the mind of Ben Jurassic, the rider for Liquid Velo in the black and green, number 339. Had a strong start today when we had some scratch races earlier on. He won his earlier event today, so he's going to try and go out and win another one in this program tonight. Elite men and junior men, 17, 18-year-olds, your results from that first race are up, so that'll help you with your starting order for your second race in the Omnium. Make sure you check that in the live results folder. I will also do my best to quickly run down those as we're calling you up. Down the back straight, it's been Jurassic still on a nice break here from the rest of the field. The rest of the juniors may be surrendering for a sprint for second because our lead rider was already going to be getting the bell. Ben Jurassic on a nice solo ride here off in front. And the sprint from the field, they're getting the bell as well, seeing one to go. Logan at the front in the white and blue of the Broadmark team. I believe that's going to be Indigo Vining making the sprint down the back straight, trying to catch up to where Ben Jurassic is, but at the least he's trying to get out in front for the second place finish. Ben's thinking to some races ahead as he's looking around his shoulder and realizing, I think I got this one on lockdown. It's Ben Jurassic first across the line. Indigo Vining, your second place rider, and a good sprint out of the field. At the rail now, our 15 to 16-year-old juniors for their scratch race about ready to get started. We're going to call the heats for the Masters 35 to 49, the Keirin Finals, excuse me. We're going to need you in the warm-up circle as you're coming up right after this. By the podiums, my mistake. We are holding riders. Thank you. 35 to 49, Keirin Finals over towards the podiums. We get a close look here as our starters for the 15 to 16-year-old group. And our field is off for what will be 5 quick laps of scratch racing for this group. Currently on the neutral. That 35 to 49 Keirin final, Stan Douglas, Alex Siegel, Greg Kogut, Steve McLaughlin, and Ben Flom will all find themselves towards the podium area. Mike Robson, Tim Luther, Kenny Williams, Hyun Lee, Aaron Levin, Mike Darlene, and Andrew Lynch will be next up for their Keirin final in the podium area. Please. Riders getting the sound of that whistle, and we're on and away for 5 laps of racing. Once again, Stan Douglas, Alex Siegel, Greg Kogut, Steve McLaughlin, and Ben Flom, I believe, are the riders in the ready area now for the Keirin final. Stan Douglas, can you keep that on so I can take a picture with you and send it to somebody? You'd make their day, and you've already made mine. The Red Ranger is here, folks. Okay, back on track here. Down the back straight, that's Colin Stotts, the rider that's taking the lead wheel for the field out here on the track. A smaller group here for our 15 to 16-year-olds. Stott's been known to ride at the front of the field and a powerful rider for his age group. Everyone respecting his position as he'll hold the front for a moment. Here comes Leah Hulslander on a sprint. Lucy Gilchrist, 222, will follow her wheel as they're in direct competition with each other for the medals, as is Danny Scoville, the rider in the orange helmet. Though they make a combined field, the females and the males in the group will be medaled separately. Colin Stotts again finds him back in his familiar role of rolling along the blue line. Seeing 2 to go as they come into the home straight. Stotts looking around, waiting for the next move. His eyes are on number 46. He knows Isaac Jurassic is a strong rider to keep his eye on, so he keeps looking at the rider in black and green. That's Leah Hulslander again, making a nice move down the back straight, trying to keep things quick for her group. As she pulls up, the field will reset themselves. Scoville quickly at the front now. Colin Stotts is here again. He's going to try to make a move. Coming onto the home straight, rider seeing 1 to go and getting the bell. In our final lap, it's Colin Stotts on the go. Isaac Jurassic looking around. He knows he's got the ability to go catch that. He's got to make the move before Colin gets too far ahead of him. Itai Malikoff also trying to make a run at it. That's the rider in black and blue, now coming alongside the rider in black and green down the back straight. It's going to be Colin Stotts at the front. Isaac Jurassic on his move. Itai Malikoff spinning up to speed, trying to get up and around the corner. It'll be Isaac Jurassic coming out of the corner at the front. It's still Itai Malikoff on the recovery, trying to get up to the line first. It'll be the rider in black and green, Isaac Jurassic, Itai Malikoff, and Colin Stotts go 1, 2, 3 across the line. All right, folks, you're seeing here first. Down in lane 1, the Red Ranger has shown up to compete. If that ain't mighty and morphin', I don't know what is. I think it would be illegal, though, to turn into a red dragon, so just don't do that. That is so cool. All right, Keirin Finals here today for our 35 to 49 Masters competitors. About ready to start. We've got a pacer on the back straight that'll be going off shortly. Getting a good view of the hazy sun there over the top of our lineup. As you can see, Stan Douglas, the rider on the inside in the all red. Alex Siegel next door to him in lane 2. Greg Kogut, the rider in the middle in blue. Stephen McLaughlin, the rider in black and white. It's Ben Flom in the black and orange in lane 5. All right, Pacers on its way. We're under the power in the legs of Andy Baker, volunteering to help us out tonight with the pace setting duties. He's on his way in between the turns. Riders ready. And they'll line up in the same way that they were given their lanes initially. It'll be the Red Ranger Stan Douglas in lane 1, takes the first position as he's committed to do so. Getting a good look there on the lineup. If you're on the stream, you can see in the action a rare view at the back of the Keirin bike. You can see the nice lineup, and again, more time with number 369, the Red Ranger, in good view there as everybody's lined up behind him. Now in Keirin Racing, this pacer's job is to bring the riders up to a good speed before dropping them off. He does more of the work for them as they all sit in the slipstream that he provides, that nice draft. And once he pulls off, it'll be their race. He won't do so until 1.5 to go. In the meantime, he's in gradual acceleration mode, each lap trying to bring it up gradually up to speed. This will be the final half lap with him on the lead of the lap. As on the back half of this one, he will exit. The pacer making the exit. It's Stan Douglas's race to lead. He will move up to the blue line. Alex Siegel crawling into the front position. It's 1 to go for the finals. This will be some medals at the line. We got to see how this crew will sort themselves out as Siegel continuing to lead the lap. Greg Kogut riding up high, the rider in blue, waiting to make the next jump onto Siegel's wheel. Siegel still not up to top speed. I've seen this guy move quick. He's waiting. Here comes a bigger sprint down the back straight. In comes the Shark. It's the guy from Portland, Stephen McLaughlin, with the big speed. Boom. He'll send it out and around the corner and coming alongside of Alex Siegel. Look out for this one, side by side. Whoa! Oh, number 29 with the fist bump. Knows he got it by an inch. Good acceleration from both of those riders as McLaughlin finds the power he needs out of turn 3 to find his way up to the front, and he's proud of that effort. Heads up. Here we go. We're all good. Okay, next group coming out here is the 50 through 54 Masters competitors for their Keirin Finals. On deck, the Masters 55 and up Keirin Final heat should be getting set to go. In lane 1, in the black with the white helmet, Mike Robson is there ready to go. Actually, I got my camera down here on the field. I'm going to start up from the top and we'll work our way down as we're standing in front of Andrew Lynch on the outside lane here in the blue. Inside of him is Mike Darlene, riding for the Center Cycles team. Aaron Levin, Davis Finney Foundation, is in the next lane over. Broadmark Realty's got Hyun Lee in the race in the white. For Center Cycles, it's Kenny Williams with the blue and the white helmet there. Tim Luther in the all blue with the white and black helmet. And finally, on the inside in that all black kit, white helmet, it's Mike Robson. Rock on, hang loose. One of the two. Hope you're enjoying the POV views from the in-person on-field cam here as we've got the live stream getting up and in front with our folks in the race. Our thanks to Mara for taking a moment away from her race prep to be down there. Pacer's on its way. Here we go. And the field's starting to gather themselves up on the rear of Andy Baker once again for some more pacing to get him up to speed. We'll take a quick look at this lineup on the outside before we take a closer look from the back of the bike there, Mike Robson. Again, that lineup, as we called them earlier, is get themselves nice and proper and all in order. Mike Robson, the rider in the black with the white helmet, will be committed to be in that lead spot unless someone else wants to come up and take it from him. Beth Adams checking in. The temperature out here is actually really good thanks to the haze. We're not looking too bad out here. I think for the most part we're in a pretty comfortable zone. It's been in the high 80s most of the day out here at the track, so not too bad. The haze sitting up in the sky, it's been keeping it a little bit cooler here on Saturday evening. We're thankful for it. Seeing 2 to go, Andy Baker's got a half lap left to take our field around. Tim Luther, the rider in the second wheel spot. Saw some strength out of him this morning in our time trial events. We're going to keep our eye on him. Kenny Williams, again, that third rider. Hyun Lee hasn't raced yet today, but he's got a lot of speed and known as a bit of a fast finisher. We'll see if he can put it together in this race today. Coming around the turn, it's now Mike Robson at the front, still waiting for someone to take it away from him. And 1 to go. The bell's ringing. Luther now coming up alongside number 52. 2 riders at the front, Robson and Luther side by side, shoulder to shoulder. Who's going to be the next rider to challenge as the acceleration coming down the backstretch? Both riders up and out of the saddle, challenging each other nicely. Robson still strong from the front. Can anyone get around this guy? Robson still on his move. Lynch all the way from, I believe, excuse me, that's not Lynch. That's Aaron Levin making the move from the middle of the group. Almost able to get there as it's Mike Robson from the front. Unbeatable, number 9. Powerhouse all the way around the track. 57 receiving, I believe, the... Pardon me. In the meantime, we head on down for this next race, the Masters 55 up, Keirin Final. On deck, elite women and 17, 18-year-old women for the second Omnium race. The second round of your Omnium race, your tempo is upcoming. All right, getting this crew set here. We're going to roll down the line. As we've got Billy Rudnick on the outside in the blue. All right, so there will be a relegation going out for number 57 for entering the sprinter's lane while occupied in the previous race. 57 receiving an official relegation for entering the sprinter's lane while occupied in the previous race. Billy Rudnick again on the outside. Next to him is Vern Cole in the black and green. It's Kevin Von Hellebeck in the third lane from the outside. Angel Liano, the next rider up in the dark blue. Scott Vinson, team unattached, with a good smile. Eric Johnson for the Major Taylor United team in the all orange. And finally, on the inside, Dyna Racing's got Eric Waterman. All right, the pace is on its way. Once again, this is a final for the Keirin, our Masters 55 and up, about to put out their 4-lap effort. Elite women, junior women for the Omnium on deck. Get a good look there as the lineup getting set. You can pick your rider and who you're going to be cheering for as one of our Dyna Racer team members. Eric Waterman finds himself right behind the pacer as he drew lane number 1. That'll be his position. Eric Johnson, no unfamiliar face around here. Much at the center of the start of this race and this tradition. So if you don't know who to cheer for Eric Johnson in the second wheel spot. As in large part to him and his work in the early years, this race exists under his leadership and his organization. So big thanks to Eric Johnson for his years of service and volunteering to put this race together. Our lineup going around and getting up to speed behind the pacer. They're still on their way for their efforts. Seeing 2 to go in the lineup coming around onto the back straight. We'll be getting the keys to the race now as the pacer is going to be heading off. Eric Waterman wants to stay on his effort at the front of the race, doesn't want to lose this position, so he's going to try and drag us it from the front as we're seeing 1 to go. Eric Johnson on the wheel, still trying to hold on to the speed of Waterman. Vincent Vern Cole lined up right behind him. Billy Rudnick also holding onto the wheel nicely. Down the back straight, it will be the rider in pink still leading out the action. He's up and out of the saddle, looking very powerful here. Can anybody challenge Waterman to the line? Vern Cole starting to find some acceleration out of the back of the group. He'll come up to the front. It's a Liquid Velo rider making a good run at it. Waterman, Vern Cole will be second across the line, and Eric Johnson in that orange jersey will make it third across the line. A few more finishers here incoming. Elite women and junior women on the sideline just another moment. Okay, we'll have an order for this for the women, so I'll try to do my best here. In the order as called, in the lead with 15 points, Jenna Lingwood. In second with 14, Annette Williams. In third with 13, Hillary Luther. In fourth with 12, Kelly Please. In fifth with 11 points, Kelly Darlene. In sixth, Alicia Stotts with 10. Amar Edwards with 9. Alexandra McLaughlin, 9. Heather Nielsen with 8. Belinda Lingwood with 7. Erin Bailey with 7. Points carry forward to the final event. We'll continue to update these as riders compete at the remainder of the evening. On the track now for their neutral, we're in a tempo race, the second race of the Omnium. With 10 laps on the lap cards, it'll be 3 laps unscored to get them sort of rolling up to speed, and there'll be a bell to remind them after 3 laps is completed. They'll hear a bell to remind them that the next lap, they'll start scoring a point at the front of the field. So riders at the front of the field earn a point. Rider with the most number of points at the end of the race is our winner. Ties will be important here. Ties will be broken based on position in the final sprint. To correct my earlier mistake, that's 4 and a bell, not 3 laps and then a bell. There'll be 4 laps before that first bell. All right, they did get the whistle, so racing is underway. 4 laps before the bell rings, and then the points start being handed out to the leaders on the lap. Your current Omnium leader sitting at the front of the field now. It's Jenna Lingwood who got the first win. The difference between her and the rest of the field is that the leader of that first race got one more point than second place. It's not a big difference over one race, but if you can place well on several of the races, it gives you a nice start for the points race later tonight, as riders will go into that race with however many they have earned from the races before. The next lap will begin the fun of the bell and points at the front. So a little bit of action here before the bell. That's Hillary Luther, number 118, on the move with 6 to go. And it's Edwards also starting up the action, number 103. The only rider to earn points is the first rider across the line. It's just a single point for that rider, so it does not pay to be second across the line. Edwards looking to pick up a point here. It will be Edwards looks to be the first point collector of the race, number 103, in the early lead. Hillary Luther now on the effort. If these two can work together, maybe they can trade points for a few laps here. Get themselves a nice advantage for later tonight when they come back out for the points race. As now Hillary Luther looks like she might be able to go on a bit of a solo effort, working to drop Edwards a little bit here. That is indeed Hillary Luther picking up her first point. You can see Edwards sitting a bit higher there in the field, coming across the line. Not too far off the pace. They're going to try to work their way back up now. It's Luther and Edwards sharing the lead with 1 point apiece. Already putting themselves in a good position for the finish of this race, earning just 1 point in such a short tempo. In comes Jenna Lingwood on her move, trying to find her first point and bringing with her a little more than half of the field on the wheel. Lingwood coming in for her first point. It'll put her in a straight tie with two of the riders. 3 to go. Lingwood feeling like it's time to take a quick rest. We'll sit up on the blue line and look for a wheel. As now it's Kelly Darlene, Annette Williams, and Kelly, please make a lineup of 3 down the back straight. One of these 3 will join the tie for the lead. Lingwood not happy with being out of the action. Will try to get back up there and join in and not get left behind. This may become the front of this race and a new field in front of the rest of these chasers. 2 to go, and it's Williams, it looks like. 102 given the call for 1 point. We have 4 riders all in a tie. If they stay tied like that, again, remember the final sprint will break those ties. So even the riders with 1 point, they're all tied for first place right now, but they're going to have to find a way to sort it out. We do it on the final lap. Onto the home straight. 1 more point to give out here as the bell's ringing for the final lap upcoming. It's Lingwood, separating herself by a single point from the rest of the leaders. Lingwood now your race leader with 2. Darlene at the front looking for her first point on her wheel. Still Annette Williams, another one of the riders with a point. If Lingwood can find another point, it's unquestionable. It'll be her as the victor. Annette Williams, if she can find this point, will be your winner with 2 points and breaking the tie over Lingwood. It'll be the closest rider to the finish line coming out of the corner. Looks it might be Annette Williams, accelerating nicely. This will give her the victory. It'll be first place for Annette Williams after picking up another point. Jenna Lingwood will be your second place rider. The riders with 1 point will break their ties here as they come across the line. I believe Hillary Luther, the next rider to come across, and then Edwards will wrap it up. All riders, please exit on the back straight as the race has come to a conclusion. Our elite men, junior 17, 18-year-old men are getting set to come onto the track for their tempo. Okay, working to announce the order here. Got a lot of things going on. Thank you for your patience. David Richter, our leader, with 15. Matt Hers in second with 14. In third, 13, Andy Baker. Nolan Adams with 12 in fourth. Brendan Russell in fifth with 11. And Isaac Jurassic in sixth with 10. John Bowie with 9. Mario Sandoval, 9. Chris Wilson, 8. Stephen Wilson's 7. Henry Kaiser, 7. Nick Martinez, 6. Ludomax, 5. Greg Kogut, 5. Tyra Lacey, 4. Carl Hofer, 3. Peter Snowblin, 3. Ryan Rusfold, 2. Kenny Williams, Itai Malikoff, Joe Spranger, Kit Colbert, and Ryan Meinhardt, 1. Peter Gilchrist, Eric Phillipson, and I believe Jonathan Levi. That's not correct. Jonathan Levi is the last on the list, but it's not Dyna Racing. That's all right. We'll get it sorted out. Four laps and then that bell to signal the start of points at the front. Again, it's just 1 point to the leader, currently in the neutral. If you're joining us today inside the park, thanks for being here and supporting the athletes. Don't forget to make some noise when they go by, especially when they're up to speed. It's pretty impressive. Pick your rider now, as this is as slow as they'll go during a tempo race. Don't forget that we've also got you covered for your evening plans. If you forgot to grab some food, we got the food truck hanging out behind. It goes Issaquah Ice Cream Trike, ready to refresh you. This is a good time now, as you've been sitting out watching some racing. Good time to come on over and grab a cold treat. The beverage garden's got some other cold treats too, of course. We're pouring Locust Cider and Postdoc Brewery tonight. Good time to grab the refreshments and continue to enjoy some great racing. We are well on our way through this program. Still plenty more racing coming up. And up to speed we go. Again, no points yet at the front of the race. This is just getting things moving. They'll get a bell when they're seeing 11 to go, reminding them that we'll start earning points after that. Here's your Omnium leader. It's David Richter at the front with 15 points. Again, only one race only separates you from second place with a single point. But if you can get a couple victories and give yourself a good start to the Omnium points race later tonight, it's worth the effort. So plenty more acceleration to be found from the field here, as we're still just getting up to speed. More speed to be found as the bell rings, reminding them that they'll start getting points. Still not there yet, seeing 12 to go. Tara Lacey, the rider in the gray with the white helmet, sitting a little high. The orange helmet of the Laser moving forward to take the front position. Andy Baker also coming up. Here comes Nick Martinez onto his effort. This is coming into what will be this first bell. Onto the home straight, riding across the track. Who wants to go for the first point? It's such a short race and only a few opportunities to grab points. At 11 to go, the bell rings, and it's Ludo Max now that finds the front of the group. That looks to be, once again, the Rocket making a move. Henry Kaiser's feeling like now's not a bad time to go as well. That's Richter for the first point, and your early race leader, number 17, the junior, coming along side by side and then overtaking Richter, wants to try to go get a point himself. You see a pretty good gap there opened up between the leaders and the rest of the field as they're all in single file formation trying to hold on to the speed here and maybe get back up for points for themselves later. Richter's going to get greedy and try to take 2 in a row. He'll do just that. The kid's without any points yet at 9 to go. He's going to try and stay up the front and see if he can find an opportunity. But he's going to have to be one heck of a fast rider to find it. Richter, our leader now, with 3 points in a row. The only rider with any points yet. The rest of the field hasn't gotten themselves in a position yet to score and strike at the Rocket, who continues to just pick up some points here as he's trying to get himself ready for what will be a very competitive points race at the end of the night. This is a great opportunity for him to continue to earn some value. Kaiser still unable to find the lead. Tough spot to be in. Richter with another point. Your leader with 4 points now in the tempo, continuing to put on a good show in front of the group. You can see that gap again pretty large as the speedster got away from the field and has just been maintaining this distance, about a 40 meter, maybe a little less than that, 30 meter gap between him and the rest of the chasing field. Six to go for the Rocket and another point. That's 5 in a row. And he's going to be hard to beat at this point. He may have done enough work for himself. He can probably rest most of the rest of this race. Brando for the Fountain Cycling team will make his own move now. Brandon Russell to the front will find his first point and put himself into second place at 5 to go. John Bowie, the rider for Liquid Velo in black and green, joins in on the effort, maybe trying to either work together a little bit or snipe a few points from Brandon Russell if he can. Russell coming in onto his wheel. We'll see if they decide to work a little bit cooperatively, or again, if this is going to be every man for himself every lap. Such a short tempo race. John Bowie might be able to find a point here. Looks like he will. Bowie for one puts him in a tie for second place now with Russell, our lone leader. Number 17, David Richter, sitting in the middle of the field. He's in recovery. He's done the work he needs to do, most likely to win this race. In fact, with those 2 points going to those 2 riders, I don't think there's anybody that can overtake Richter in the final points, especially if these 2 riders continue to change at the lead and exchange blows. 3 to go. These 2 continue to earn some value off the front. A nice proposition for both of them as they're going to look like a 2-man team working together, taking strong full lap pulls. Bowie looking down a little bit, maybe showing a little bit of sign of fatigue, but the field still giving them some room here. They might be able to find at least one more. Brando's looking over his shoulder, realizing they're beginning to close. This is going to be enough in time. Greg in the all blue making his move up here. This might be these riders' last chance, so they're going to go for whatever they can get. Ooh, man. It'll go to John Bowie again. 2 riders with 2 points each is Russell and Bowie in a tie for second place. Nolan Adams was on a quick tear, number 11, not fast enough to get the point. Matty Hers also sees the move and knows that there's few laps remaining to get some points and separate themselves from the rest of this field. Here's the bell, and it's going to be 1 to go. Adams and Hers. It'll be Matty Hers. A sly dog on that sprint. The rider in black with the white helmet does find a single point, and that'll move him, I believe, into a 4th place spot. The rider in pink unable to collect that time. Matty Hers looking to find another one. If he does so, he'll be in a tie with the other 2 riders with 2 points apiece and will break the tie. He'll be in second. It's Matty Hers coming around the corner. A well-timed move for him. It'll put him right up into second place overall with this sprint. The rest of the place's ties being broken is Chris Wilson, number 39, coming up. He's the first rider of the riders without points to come across the line. That's important. That'll still matter in the Omnium placing. So riders making their efforts where they need to. Nicely done for our competitors in the elite men, junior 17, 18-year-olds. Coming up next are the juniors 10 to 12-year-olds for a points race. Clearing the track here in just a moment. We got a couple more finishers and we're ready to bring you up. Junior 10 to 12-year-olds, please be ready. Don't keep rolling around that warm-up circle. Ten to 12-year-olds, the track's open. Come on up, please. Where are you at? 10 to 12-year-old juniors, please. To the rail. Warm-up is over. Racing starts. On deck, junior 13 to 14-year-olds. 13 to 14-year-old juniors on deck for the points race coming up next. They're followed by the Elite Masters women for their Keirin Finals. Starting from the rail is what I just heard. So the race is underway. 9 to go. Points race underway. That was not a neutral. So the racing has begun. Next time around, we'll see 8 to go. Points racing. Riders at the front of the field on certain laps get points as 5, 3, 2, and 1 to the leaders on those sprint laps. They'll know it's a sprint lap because the lap before will be a bell. In this case, it's a 3x3, which means there will be 3 sprints separated by 3 laps each. First bell in this 9-lap race at 7 to go. Points at 6. Once again, a bell at 4. Points at 3 to go. And a bell at 1 to go. That point sprint at the end will be worth double. 10, 6, 4, and 2 to the leaders. Riders with the most number of points, as you might be able to guess, will be our winners. Sync 8 to go. Next time around, juniors, you'll get a bell. Number 511 at the lead is Keegan Fairbanks. On the lead of the lap. Also number 504 out there, Luna Mendoza for the Jerry Baker Juniors team. She's got the kit, I believe, at the back of the group currently with the white helmet. It's one of those two. I'll see as we come back around. Coming on the home straight, they're going to be getting their first bell, and the points will come out next lap. 7 to go and a bell for the juniors. The youngest crew out here to compete today are 10 to 12-year-olds. Molly Armstrong is 524. She's also out here in the black and blue of the Jerry Baker Juniors colors. Charlotte Westover in the blue with the pink helmet at the back of the crew right now. They're going to be lining up for points as it'll go 5, 3, 2, and 1 in the order they come across the line. Elimination start orders are posted online for both Omniums. Please check before starting that race. It will help us with organizing everything. Know your start order will help us out. Oh, the sprint for points. Keirin will take up 5. They got Molly picking up the 3, number 524, the next rider across the line, and a good first sprint for the youngsters. This is the future of the sport out here. 10 to 12-year-olds competing on the track in front of a live audience. How cool is that? We have junior programs every summer that help riders get ready to go here at the track. They're pretty much filled up for 2021, as are all of our adult classes, but we're not just a racing facility, we're also an education facility. It prides itself on helping our community get on a track bike and learn how to be an athlete. During the summer months, this community is very close-knit. We see each other a lot out here at the track, and our youngsters get to interact with riders that have been on the track for 20, 30, 40 years, veterans and experts of all sorts, coaches, national and international champions, even Olympians that are a part of our community. They get to interact with, meet, and learn from. It's fun to highlight them here on a Saturday evening as they learn the fundamentals of safe racing and, of course, good sport out here on the track. And if that's not something to cheer for, I don't know what is. Next lap around, it'll be another bell for them, and our second effort will be coming up for points. Your leader currently Keirin Finals with 5. Molly Armstrong did get the 3, our second place rider. Luna Mendoza got 2, and Charlotte Westover found 1 point in the first sprint. Bell's ringing again. Points next lap. 4 to go. That's Keirin on the front, your current race leader, trying to get 5 more. Charlotte Westover, the rider, I believe, in position to chase for the group of 3 behind. And that's right, put your hands together. Here comes points. It's going to be Keirin at the front. The sprint for 3 looking good. Charlotte Westover coming all the way up for 3 that time. At 5:04, Luna Mendoza picking up 2 again. Nice and consistent. Marley Armstrong will pick up 1. I think this is going to give ourselves a nice big tie. I think 3 riders are sitting at 4 points apiece after that sprint, if I'm not mistaken. 1 rider at the front for 10 will be Keirin Finals, your race leader after 2 sprints. The final one upcoming, again, worth double. That's how it'll go on the final sprint. It'll be 10, 6, 4, and 2. And indeed, it is a 3-way tie for the rest of the field, all sitting with 4 points. So we'll come down to the final sprint to sort out 2nd, 3rd, and 4th place overall in the field. The youngsters coming onto the home straight will be seeing 2 to go. 2 to go. If you're enjoying what you're seeing out here, just a reminder, this may be indeed a unique Saturday night. We do not do Saturday night racing very frequently, only for special events. But this sort of a quality event, including announcer, beverage garden, food trucks, the whole 9 yards out here, is a pretty common event for us on a Friday night. If you enjoy racing of this sort, even if you can't make it out in person, don't forget you can catch the action online on our YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell. And, of course, in person, 7 o'clock on Friday nights in the summer months. We put on this kind of racing frequently here at the track. It's 1 to go. Put your hands together for the 10 to 12-year-olds in their final effort. Off they go. 1 more fast lap. Down the back straight, we'll be sorting out mostly for 2nd place. The rider in sort of the maroon red with white on the outside is your leader, trying to find another 10 points. And off Keirin goes to try to close this race down. Out of the field, it's Charlotte that's leading the sprint for 2nd place. Keirin up and out of the saddle to finish it strong. Nice race for Keirin. Here comes Charlotte Westover trying to settle 2nd place. And the sprint for the 3rd. Oh, it's close. Nice effort for both riders. Looks like it's going to be just barely Marley Armstrong over Luna Mendoza in that final sprint. Nicely done for the youngest group of riders in their final race tonight. We will be awarding some medals and getting some podiums sorted out for them in not too long. We want to make sure to acknowledge the young riders before it's too far past bedtime. Coming on next, juniors, 13 to 14-year-olds for their points race. All right, this is a big enough group. We'll give them a neutral. So set them on the neutral. This is a 4x3 points race. The rules I mentioned last time all stay the same. We've added one more sprint, so there's 4 sprints this time instead of 3. Still separated by 3 laps each, so 12 laps in total. First bell will be at 10 to go, points at 9, and so on and so forth. Once again, if you are curious about Fred's race, mentioned this a little bit during today's morning session. The naming comes from our good friend, Fred C. Rayberger. We remember him with this race, starting back in 2014, as my history lessons reminded me as I looked up the history and the story of this race and reminding myself of the great tradition here. And as Fred moved on into the next great existence, we are stuck here remembering the positive impact he had on this cycling community, as Fred would always go to everything he could and try to bring you with him. If you're curious about Fred and the story of Fred's race, there's actually a great article up on the website. You can head to velodrome.org, the racing tab, or right there on the homepage. There's a big slider to take you to more information about Fred's race, where the riders went to go get registered. And there's a PDF right there with some good information, both about Fred C. Rayberger and, of course, why we started this race in the first place. It's all about getting riders on the track. It's about encouraging people to race, to be a good community, good sports, and have good fun while doing it. So our thanks to our athletes for coming out here and remembering that Fred would go. Good to see you coming out and joining us. Field seeing 11 to go again. This first bell at 10 laps remaining. Cruising on the wheel, Ben Jurassic currently. There's the bell for the first points. Tom Herrick at the front of the field, number 503, looking around over his shoulder, waiting to see who's going to try to come over the top of him for this first sprint. He'll lead things out down the back straight. Jack Hampson trying to come up to the front for Tritech. Here comes Ben Jurassic, looking strong in this field all day long, trying to find 5. He'll do so. 3 points for Indigo Vining. Hampson, I believe, gets 2. Number 515 is Logan Lee. Will get 1 point unofficially in the sprint. Eight to go. Early race leader in points off the front of the field now. It's Ben Jurassic in the lead with 5. Indigo Vining in second with 3. Indigo Vining's number 514 in the Jerry Baker Juniors black and blue. In second place, Jack Hampson for Tritech Select, one of our Oregon competitors coming up the I-5 corridor. And Logan Lee for Broadmark Realty Team has 1. That's number 515. He's in 4th. Here's your race leader on the track and with the points getting the bell. At 7 to go. And the field also getting the bell in. 7 laps remaining. Points next lap for the field. They're going to be sprinting for 3 points at this point as Ben has once again sort of blown this thing up. Looks like Logan getting out in front of the field for the sprint for 3 points. It will be Ben over here picking up the 5, by the way. Out of the field, though, we see Logan making a great move. At 6 to go, Logan finds the 3 points. Gavin Newman for 2. And JC Pyle should find 1 point in the sprint. Our leader may be finding a few riders here soon. They'll actually give him the sprinter's lane. How kind. Be aware, riders. We got a rider coming up. There we go. These riders getting overtaken will be not eligible for points, it sounds like, on the next sprint, as they are in between the leader and the field now. The leader on the track is the rider in black and green. Everyone else is behind him now. The bell's ringing at 4 to go. 4 points. This is Ben at the front. The next riders will not be eligible as they're currently in between the leader and the field. The next riders available for points would be the big field coming out of turn 3 and 4 here. As we see them coming out of the turn, they'll be getting the bell reminding them that they're sprinting for points. 3 points to the line next lap for the field. Gavin Newman at the lead of the field now. This is Ben coming across the line, seeing 3 to go, picking up his 5 points. You can see how close he's getting to the back of the field. If he can actually catch them, he gains 20 points. There's not a ton of time left to do it, but he's making good progress on it. Now the field getting up to speed is JC Pyle on a nice move up and out of the saddle. He'll accelerate pretty quick. 3 points for Pyle coming up to the line here. Indigo Vining for 2 and Tom Herrick for 1. Your leader seeing 2 to go is the rider in black and green now crossing the line. He's about to catch the back end of some of the riders that may have come out of the field. Not quite up to the main group of riders just yet, though. If he can catch the group that's now in turn 3, he will officially have lapped the field and be up 20. We'll see if he can get there. It'll be basically at 1 to go. He's going to have to put on a big sprint effort and see if he can do it in time if he wants to. The field's still seeing 2 to go, technically. The leader seeing 1, and he's getting 1 to go. He's catching the field. Points going to the rider in turn 2 currently. That's going to be Jack out of turn 2 onto the back straight is the front of the race now. Plus 20 being given to Ben. He's won the race hands down. He's going to continue to try to sprint because why the heck not? Put your hands together, folks, here on this final effort for these juniors. Ben Jurassic, strong young rider, putting on a great show, making it all around this field tonight. Indigo Vining coming out of the group for 3, Jack for 2, and JC Pyle for 1. Make those points double, and then my call would have been more accurate. It's the final sprint. You think I've done this enough to not make mistakes like that? We got a couple more finishers and plenty of ties still to break here. As again, the medals are going to be separated between the women and the boys. So here they come. Oh, nice sprint. Nice finish. All right. The Elite and Masters Keirin Finals, the Elite Women and Masters Women Keirin Finals coming onto the track. From outside working in, it's Jenna Lingwin closest to the rail in the neon colored jersey. In the red is Heather Nielsen. Up next would be Alinda Lingwood in the blue for Greg's Trek. For Center Cycles, Annette Williams. Third from the bottom, Alexandra McLaughlin in the black and white for the Bike Central team out of Oregon. And of course, Amar Edwards for Greg's in lane 1. And off we go. 4 laps for the pace to bring us up to speed. Three laps to go. Edwards at the front of the lineup. Riders, of course, lining up in the order of the lane in which they draw. Based on their Omnium competition, look out for the rider at the back of the group. As Jenna Lingwood has been strong today, as has Annette Williams. She's the 3rd rider in the group. In a shorter race of this format, this does give different riders an opportunity to highlight themselves. Another one to certainly keep your eyes on is the rider in the black and white in the 2nd spot. No slouch in the Keirin is McLaughlin. This will be the lap in which we drop the pacer on the back straight. And then riders will be off to make the race their own. Swinging out a little bit, as you can see, Jenna Lingwood kind of moving out, Heather Nielsen doing so as well. Onto the home straight with the bell ringing. That's Edwards at the lead spot. Now Heather Nielsen sliding down and over the outside is going to try to find the short part of the track. The rider in red not able to do so yet. Still riding a little high on the track. Up in the bank, coming down to the back straight, bring with her Jenna Lingwood and Annette Williams, both riders ready to find a wheel to jump on. Here goes Williams, trying to hold Jenna in a little bit. It's going to be a bit of a box-in move. Ooh, Lingwood's got a little bit of room to move up, but not enough to find cannot pinch through. Has to make the second effort around the outside. Can she find the speed? Annette Williams has the easier way. Williams, Lingwood, and Williams, Lingwood. Oh, I think it might have been Lingwood. It was awfully close. The judges seem to agree as well from the stand that it'll go in the direction of Lingwood as the official called, but it was awfully close in the double move required to do it. Strong finish for both of those riders. We had enough riders in this competition for the elite men Keirin that we had to have some heats this morning. These are the riders making it top 3 out of their heats to qualify for these finals tonight. In the outside, Stephen McLaughlin in the black and white for Bike Central coming up from Oregon. Super Mario Sandoval next to him. Working our way down, it's Brandon Russell, also of the Found Cycling Guild. Alex Siegel in the white for Broadmark Realty. Carl Pratis of the Jerry Baker Jr.'s team, second from the bottom. And then finally for Broadmark Realty team, Andrew Carlberg in lane 1. Now, if we're talking about a top speed event at the track, we're a bit stacked here tonight. This is actually a wonderfully fast group. So every one of these riders accomplished in their own way, but many of these riders who I think would self-identify as sprinters, and Keirin is certainly something in which the sprinters want to own, a race of top speed. Our fastest 200-meter time on a week-to-week and our local track at the front of the group is Andrew Karlberg with the highest, I think, power output possible of this field, but there's lots of ways to beat him still. You gotta be thinking how the other riders are trying to put that together. Behind him, one of our strongest junior men competitors, Carl Pratis. No slouch in the Keirin either, with very good top speed. Alex Siegel, teammate to Andrew Karlberg, and also a sprint specialist. For the Found Cycling team, 2 riders with plenty of speed. Brandon Russell may be a little bit more of an all-arounder out here. Right behind him, Mario Sandoval, another sprint specialist. Look out for his top speed. And finally, from Portland, you saw him earlier, how fast he can get. Stephen McLaughlin, the Shark, as he's known. He is a terror out here in these events. Seeing 2 to go now as the field flying on the home straight. We're going to let this race go and see what happens with these riders on the back straight momentarily. It's still Karlberg that will be at the front. Quick guess if he's going to stay on that position or not here as the bike goes off to the side. He looks over the right shoulder and will maintain pace but not push it too hard yet. If he can get close to that finish line, he's likely to just go. Nobody's coming around the outside yet. It's still Karlberg on the front. Here comes Brendan Russell. Karlberg still starting to get himself up to speed. He's got a little bit more to give as Brendan Russell coming up alongside of him almost. He'll slot down into his draft. Now down the back straight, Karlberg's got to have to give as much as he can to not let anybody come over to the top. He's at the front, has to stay there. Can anybody get alongside of him? Brandon Russell's trying to find the speed to do so. Karlberg, I'm telling you guys, this is top speed. Andrew Karlberg, you cannot find a way around this guy once he gets up to speed here at our track. Number 1 shows you what it's all about. Brandon Russell looking quick too. Alex Siegel comes along for the ride and will get 3rd. Number 26 receiving a relegation for entering the sprinters lane while occupied. Official relegation to number 26 for entering the sprinters lane while occupied. Junior 15, 18-year-old Keirin Finals are coming up onto the track now. Getting ourselves lined up again, starting outside. Looks like Peter Gilchrist is raising his hand for a holder. I think he might get some help from Mike. Mike's, oops, you got 2 helpers. For the Jerry Baker Juniors on the outside, we've got a lot of Jerry Baker Juniors here, so I don't need to say that. They're all wearing the same kit. On the outside is Peter Gilchrist. In the orange helmet, Danny Scoville next to him. Henry Kaiser, also in an orange helmet, next to her. Colin Stotts, 3rd from the inside with the black helmet. Lucy Gilchrist, 2nd from the inside with the white helmet, and then finally all the way down in lane number 1, Kelly Darlene. And off we go for 4 fast laps to determine who's the king and queens of the juniors in this speedy event. Get themselves all lined up and ready for some laps of acceleration. I don't know about you, but I've been feeling the heat all weekend long, and we've got you ready to go tonight because the Issaquah Ice Cream Trike is hanging out here tonight with fantastic, cold, frozen, delectable treats to cool you down on what has been a very hot weekend here in the Pacific Northwest. We could not think of a better way than to enjoy some nice ice cream from our friend from the Issaquah Ice Cream Trike. Hanging out behind the grandstands, come on over to the home straight, and you'll find them no problem. 3 to go. Another lap and a half with the pacer bringing him up to speed. That's again Kelly Darlene that was down in lane number 1, the rider right behind the pacer with that more beige colored full rear disc wheel. She actually broke her own record this morning for the 2K time trial. The junior time trial record was held by her previously at just over 2 minutes and 40 seconds. She broke that record this morning of her own, putting in a very quick 2K time. So a good morning for her. She's feeling more and more in shape, and recently a national champion as well in her age group in time trialing, and she's had a very successful year, let's put it that way. So she's going to try and see what she can do tonight from the front of this field in this Keirin. It's now her race to lead, and that's exactly where she may want to be. Just put on one of her best efforts from the front and be strong as the rest of the field now in chasing and pursuit at 1 to go. The laser's up and out of the saddle. He's going to really move things along, bring himself up to top speed. Peter Gilchrist is going to try to find that wheel. But when it comes to top speed and power output, this guy is going to be hard to beat out of this group. Riding every week on a Friday night with the Cat 1-2 men, Henry Kaiser looking quick here. And the junior with the orange helmet puts on a good show for us in the Keirin. Peter Gilchrist trying to find second across the line, and there's Kelly Darlene cruising in for third. And our juniors will make their way off on the back straight. Good racing for them tonight. And it'll be time for podiums here shortly. I'm going to get myself prepared to do so. The 10 to 14-year-old junior podiums will be going on the infield. So all of our 10 to 14-year-olds, I will try to get your races announced. That will be first the chariot and or the scratch from earlier, then the points race. And then I will announce the Omniums to the best of my ability. 1 minute for transition. Thank you. All right, first up I have the 10 through 12-year-old chariot finals. First for the junior men. In first place, your champion, Keegan Fairbanks. And for the junior women, 10 to 12-year-old chariots, in third place, Charlotte Westover. In second place, Luna Mendoza. And your champion tonight, Molly Armstrong. Let's just do the 10 to 12-year-olds since we got them here, right? Let's do them all. Here comes the points race for the 10 to 12-year-olds. For the junior men, in the 10 to 12-year-old points race, you know him, you love him. Guess who? Keegan Fairbanks. And for your junior women in the points race, going third place, Luna Mendoza. In second, Molly Armstrong. And your junior women 10 to 12-year-old points race champion, Charlotte Westover. And now into the 10 to 12-year-old junior Omniums. First up for the boys, I don't think William belongs here, so you know him, you love him, Keegan Fairbanks. And look at that, the Pacific Northwest Regional Champion jersey for Keegan for his efforts this weekend. Congratulations. For the junior girls, 10 through 12-year-old Omnium. In third place, Luna Mendoza. In second place, Charlotte Westover. And on top of the Omnium competition for this weekend, it is Molly Armstrong. Congratulations to our 10 to 12-year-old juniors for a fantastic set of races. We're so glad to have you here at Fred's Race. We bring ourselves now to the 13 to 14-year-old juniors, first for their scratch race. For the 13 to 14-year-old women, junior women competitors, in third place is Bella Mejia. In second place, Keirin Robinson. And your champion, Rue Tomko. For the junior men field, scratch race, top three. In third place, Logan Lee. In second place, Indigo Vining. And your champion, Ben Jurassic. Coming up now, the points race for the junior 13 to 14-year-old competitors. Up first, the junior women. In third place, Keirin Robinson. In second place, Bella Mejia. And your junior women 13 to 14-year-old points race champion is Rue Tomko. For the junior men 13 to 14-year-old points race field, in third place, Jack Hampson. In second place, Indigo Vining. And ready or not, here he comes. It's Ben Jurassic. And our last set of announcements before we move on with racing the Omnium for the 13 to 14-year-old juniors. First, we'll do our junior girls, 13 to 14-year-old field. In third place, Keirin Robinson. In second place, Bella Mejia. And your champion, Rue Tomko. And we got one more presentation for you before our next race is coming up. The Elite Women, 17-18-year-old women, coming out for their third race in the Omnium in just a moment. The last group up, the junior boys, 13-14 Omnium for the weekend. In third place for Tri-Tech Select, it is Jack Hampson. For the Jerry Baker Juniors team, in second place, it is Indigo Vining. And for Liquid Velo, you know him, you love him, it's going to be Ben Jurassic. And with that, we can send our 10 to 14-year-olds out if they're ready to do so. How about one round of applause again for all the youngest junior competitors here at the track today. Congratulations to all of them for their great effort this weekend. All right, coming up next, we will be bringing up some more racing, so don't go anywhere. Good opportunity to get some more refreshments, folks. As we took that little bit of a break, you can go grab something cold from the beverage garden. Beer stays in, by the way. Kids stay out. But you can come on in and enjoy a beverage in the beautiful Stanley Cups, $5 a pour. Hang out and enjoy racing from the home straight. It's a good view as well. As we get set for this next group to come on out, it will indeed be the Elite Women and plus Kelly for the third race in the Omnium, the Elimination, coming up in just a moment. All right, here we go. I've got this list. Don't worry. This is taking a moment for me to be able to read it. Coming out to the track first, we actually have a tie at the top. It's Annette and Jenna, both with 29 points at the lead of the field. Annette Williams, Jenna Lingwood. Hillary Luther with 26, currently in third. Kelly Darlene and Kelly Please, both with 22 points, coming in at a tie for fourth. With 21 is Amara Edwards. Alicia Stotts, 19. Heather Nielsen, Alexander McLaughlin with 17. Alinda Lingwood, 14. And finally, Erin Bailey coming onto the track. In this third race in the Omnium, riders are going to be working to be in the field as long as they can. This is an elimination race. We eliminate riders for being at the back of the field every lap around until there's only 2 left. When there's 2 left, they'll hear a bell at 1 to go, and those 2 will be sprinting for first and second. So really, it's an elimination down to the very last rider. Riders earn points, of course, for this Omnium competition. The longer they stay in, the better they'll do. About ready to get started this elimination. There it is. Next lap, we'll start losing riders. Next lap, last rider across, pulled from the race. So what you want to watch in these elimination races, if you haven't seen one of these before, is keep your eye in 2 places. Here you might want to be watching the front. Who's setting the pace? Who's there? But now you're going to want to start shifting your eyes to the back of the field and see how they're starting to move into position. As each lap, the back right portion of that field is going to move high and try to get up and around this field, as the front will often stay very consistent and the back is going to be yo-yoing forward and backwards. I think we might have our first rider. 206. EB for the Breakfast Club found out. There looks to be Alinda Lingwood at the back right corner. Amara Edwards also there. Both of them are going to be having to do the work of sprinting here around the field. Alexander McLaughlin also doing the same work as she comes up and around the outside. That's the rider in black and white. They've got the longer way to go, but they prefer this. More effort now than rest. Then effort and then rest. More of a sprinter's day at the track. Oh, close to the back. 114 is McLaughlin. Alinda Lingwood gets enough speed to hold on. 114 is found out. The Bike Central rider, it was close. The rider in black and white. On the back straight, you see again the 2 riders for Greg's are in a line, trying to just work around the outside. One of the strongest riders in the field has fallen towards the back is Jenna Lingwood, coming off of the lead spot. Will now have to do a little bit of the sprinting work herself. Heather Nielsen does the job of leading the field as the 2 Greg's riders find themselves sprinting to stay in. 116, it's going to be Lingwood this time. Alinda Lingwood. Hillary Luther finds herself near the back as well. The rider in the blue kit, kind of the lighter aquamarine color, will have to find a way to maneuver herself up and around the outside as well. As again, the interesting part here is out of turn 4, how the back end has to swoop around and stay in the race another lap. Edwards all the way at the back. Can she find the speed to stay another lap? 118 is Luther. Edwards accelerated big time out the outside along the rail. It's good enough to get another lap for her. The historians amongst us will recall the time in which we also would refer this to Devil Takes the Hindmost, and Amara's always enjoyed the role, sprinting to the line, trying to get folks at the last moment, as known by our friends across the big ocean, the big lake. Can she do it again? Doesn't look like there's anyone for her to get. 103 does get found that time. It's Edwards. Kelly Darlene does the service of pace setting. You can see her now in the back straight as LV riders happy to be on her wheel. She's a consistent motor for this group. Annette Williams finds herself near the front, as does Kelly Please. The two Kellys tied in points as they came into the Omnium in this race, so we'll see how they start to separate themselves a little bit before their final points race begins. Look to the back here in the middle. Oh, might be Found Cycling losing a rider this time. 204, Stotts. $111, Nielsen. Still working our way down. The field shrinking quickly. Ooh, good sprint here to hold on. 101 is Darlene. Four riders spreading across the line there. It came down to the rider on the inside. Another close call. Darlene exits in fourth place. Now to the top three is Kelly Please, still on the action, the rider in the black and blue for Apex Racing. Here goes Jenna Lingwood now, as we basically have three riders in a sprint mode here. Coming across the line, it'll be Jen on the inside. Bells ringing, reminding it's one to go. 112, Please. 112. Onto the back straight. It's been the two at the top of the competition so far. In fact, they find themselves in a tie. Starting the race is Lingwood. Jenna Lingwood at the front position. Annette Williams in the dark blue on the wheel. Both of them come into this with 29 points. This finishing order will only make one more point difference, but that may end up mattering for their final race tonight, so they're going to go ahead and go for it. And on the final sprint, it looks like Jenna will be the one to take the slight advantage coming into the final race. Jenna Lingwood and Annette Williams. Elite men, junior 17, 18-year-old men, come on out for your third race in the Omnium. To the rail, please. To the rail. Oh, I'm sorry. I got to call you, don't I? Don't you dare. David Richter knows he's up first, I bet, so let me take a look here to confirm. At top of the competition is Richter with 30 points. It's Matty Hers in second with 28. Brendan Russell with 23 in third. John Bowie's got 22, good for fourth. Andy Baker and Olin Adams both have 21. Chris Wilson, 19. Steven Wilson's 17. Mario Sandoval and Ludo Max, 14. Isaac Jurassic, 12. Nick Martinez, 11. Carl Hofer, 10. Kenny Williams, 8. Henry Kaiser, 8. Joe Spranger and Tyrell Lacey, 7. Ryan Rustfold and Greg Kogut, 6. Peter Snoblin, 6. Itai Malikoff, Kit Colbert, Ryan Meinhardt with 2. Peter Gilchrist, Eric Phillipson. There's our field. Likely one of the faster neutrals you'll see tonight. This field going to have to move into position quickly, as they know immediately the eliminations start and they don't stop once this race gets going. You can see the wedge here starting to form, and this formation will be what they're likely in for the majority of the race. That whistle signaling the beginning of the action. Next lap, we will start eliminating riders at the back of the field. No slouch in this race when it comes to pace setting. In a strong rider, finding the front is Steven Wilson's. A couple other riders ready to jump in on the action at the front of the field. More comfortable with tempo setting than sprinting at the back. You can see the front of the wedge has been set. The move on the far outside coming from a couple of Piat Broadmark riders. I believe that's going to be Kit Colbert on the far outside edge. Itai Malakoff. Again, it's Kit Colbert near the back that has to make the move. He's going to go down the short way. Is it going to work out for him? Kit Colbert, 334. We may have a volunteer early here. Looks to be Gilchrist now coming to the line, will be our rider exiting. Snoblin, the rider in the white and black with the orange bike near the back of the field, as is Henry Kaiser with the orange helmet. Ryan Rustfold, the rider, I think, in the lower position. He's going to go down to the sprinter's lane as the rest of the field's going to have to go up and around the right side. Snoblin trying to be the one to get around and cut someone out of this race. Snoblin, 303. He had a role to play and didn't quite get the acceleration he was looking for. This will be a long race. Every rider in here is going to be eliminated one at a time, and so this big field is going to be whittled all the way down. Lots of laps for those that are pace setting at the front. Steven Wilson's not wanting to yield that yet, the rider in the light blue. Everyone happy to be on his pace now. Sandoval, 26. Trying to sit in that soft spot down in the bottom of the track. You can't go forward, so he tried to go as far forward as he could, but the rest of the field was able to make the maneuver around the outside, including Ryan Rustfold, Henry Kaiser, and a couple of other riders on their acceleration were able to hold on around the right side where they had maneuverability. Down the left, it might be shorter, but you don't have the ability to move up. Another early volunteer, it looks like. That looks to be Phillipson making his way off this time. 340, 340, given the call. Eric Phillipson, certainly not unfamiliar with racing out here. He's been a few seasons away from us. Good to have him back here in 2021 and racing. The Lasers making the move around the outside. Leaving out 333 out of the race. Spranger, one junior for another. You can keep watching that orange helmet. He continues to play this role at the back and the outside part of the field. Ryan Rustfold moving down to the short part of the lane of this race. The rider in the blue with the white helmet might have the hardest position now. We'll see. It'll be 54 all the way down the inside as Greg is found, number 54. The Hagens-Berman rider having a good sense of awareness of how this race is going to unfold, is finding just the right place to be. As the rider all the way down the sprinter's lane caught that time. And you can see again that wedge spreading out in turns 3 and 4 puts Kaiser all the way at the back. Ludo Max also finds himself near the back end of this field. Oh man. 18. Martinez. It's always going to be in that middle part of the sprinter's lane as the acceleration just keeps coming from the top of the group. Look how spread out this has become now, as effort at the front taking over for Steven Wilson's has re-accelerated the entire field. Andy Baker wants to make it a little bit quicker. Oh, 3:36, the next victim. As once again, number 44 has been very efficient. The efficient little, I guess, the thorn in the side of this field as he continues to take one rider at a time. I say little problem, it's actually kind of a big problem. He keeps working this for the rest of the race. He's going to be working his way into top 5 spots. Let's see how long he can keep at it. Another sprint effort from the kid on the back end, and Ludo Max might be out in a bad spot. 38, he knew it was coming. It's Ludo Max, nowhere to go, and he's found at the back. I keep watching Rustfold at the bottom of the track. He's always in the right spot, though. He's been able to hold on, even though he's not always in the best position, nowhere to go. It's always somebody else. In this case, Ludo Max found right in the middle of the field. The white helmet is Chris Wilson. He's not going to want to stay at the back for too long. He'll jump up quickly. Kaiser's still at the back of the field, now moving up along the outside, looking at a Jurassic down there in the lower part of the track. 28, Rustfold finally found. Ryan Rustfold, 28. It was him or Isaac Jurassic in the bottom part of the track, and it, again, awfully close. Chris Wilson all the way from the back has come to the front now, making a break. No points for doing an effort like this. Just guaranteeing no elimination anytime soon. 4:51, Tyrell Lacey. Middle of the pack again as the sprinter's lane stays safe. Thanks for joining us here on the outside of the track. We see you coming in and checking out the velodrome. Lots of folks between turns 1 and 2 walking in and seeing what's happening. We're in Fred's race, the 3rd session. This is the Pacific Northwest Regional Track Cycling Championships. We are in the middle of this 3rd session and having a good one. Number 11. Number 11. Thirty-two. Hofer. The junior's still doing the same thing, lap after lap. He's a fun one to watch out here as he keeps doing the roll. Can he get somebody else? He's on pace to do so. Look at the bottom. Ooh, it is 39. Chris Wilson found that time. Oh, another one falls victim. Kaiser's found a good wheel too. He's right behind the Omnium leader as he's got Richter right in front of him. Matty Hers still in this race. Andy Baker still in there. John Bowie. I see Brando Russell, another rider near the top of the overall Omnium. Uh-oh, look at this gap now. Is the kid going to go low? Yeah, let's see. He'll make the move up and around. Steven Wilson's might be the one left in the back. Let's see who's coming. Oh, yep, 25. The whole group lines up side by side, but Steven Wilson's out there. We're going to go. Round and around they go. We're down to 8. Keep working our way down all the way to the final 2. How long can these riders at the back continue to sprint around and do this? The junior's been at it for way too many laps to keep track of. He's going to try and do it again. He's got a long way to go. Ooh, does he have enough speed? This might be the end. We'll see. 44 is finally found out. Oh, man. Good effort from the kid as he continued to eliminate riders. He gets a nice round of applause for that effort. That's fun to watch. The junior is found. We've got plenty more riders still to work through. We've got another junior in this field as well. He's been sitting in comfortably as Isaac Jurassic nearly out one lap. Then he moved himself up a ways. He's the rider in the black and green near the back alongside Richter now. He's going to have to find some way to go. He goes the short way. Is that going to work out? Ooh, it might. It's going to be tight at the back. I'm looking at another rider for Found Cycling. Whoa! There's the other junior. It's number 46. Isaac Jurassic staying in for plenty of laps. Wow. Looks like we have a volunteer on the lap. A little early. So we'll be eliminating Kenny Williams this lap. We got 5 left in the field. Number 4 is Andy Baker down the sprinters lane. 15, Matty Hers for Keller Rohrbach Racing. John Bowie for the Liquid Velo team in black and green. 2 riders for Found Cycling. It's Brandel Russell, and right behind him, David Richter. They came into this race with Richter in the lead of the Omnium with 30 points. Matty Hers in second with 28. It looks like another volunteer is Brando starting to fall off the pace. Maybe not noticing the early exit there. They'll sprint. The 4 of them will go thinking they might eliminate, but instead it'll be number 6. Brando the Mando makes top 5. Good for the Omnium points still. Down the back straight, it's Andy Baker still in that sprinter's lane. Everybody else wanting to go up and around. Here comes Richter, though. Is he going to make a big move and just try to keep the pace too fast for everybody else? One rider out. Who will it be? It's Richter on the front. The Rockets trying to get things rolling again. And Matty Hers sprinting against Baker to stay in the race. Number 4, Andy Baker. Number 4. Look at the acceleration he still has. He was just a half second late on the effort to be in. He'll exit on the back straight, leaving us with 3. They'll get the bell, reminding him it's 1 to go. Richter again up and out of the saddle. Bowie trying to get to the wheel quickly. Matty Hers looking like he may not be ready to make this one go. Matty Hers sitting back. It looks like he's the early volunteer. The bell's ringing. It's 1 to go. It's John Bowie on the wheel of David Richter. 2 speedsters here at the Velodrome going head to head. Richter's been in good form. Again, it's been a few weeks since we've had Bowie out here regularly. He's been out of town, but he's back here putting on a good show tonight. He's got another effort in him. There he goes down the back straight. Can he take Richter on this race? Out of turn 4. We'll see who's going to come out of the turn in the lead. It's still Bowie in the sprinter's lane, and it looks like it will be our rider for Liquid Velo winning the elimination. John Bowie. Richter will still be your Omnium leader coming out of this race, but Bowie will be plowed to work and chisel away a little bit of that lead. All right, I think we are ready for bringing up our next group, which should be Masters 35 through 54 for the scratch race. That field should find their way to the rail now. 35 to 54 Masters scratch race to the rail, please. On deck, the Masters 55 and up scratch race. They're followed by the junior men 50, or sorry, the junior 15, 16-year-old juniors elimination race. This is an easy one. If you don't know who to cheer for, I know who. Yeah, I think you already know who my recommendation is going to be. That's right, the Red Ranger. That's all I wanted for my 6th birthday. I don't know, was that your 7th, maybe 7th birthday? Something like that. This will be a 10-lap points race. Riders in the neutral will start at turn 4 as long as they're all together, as we do with these types of races. Again, on deck, we have another scratch race coming up for the Masters 55 and up. Hope you're enjoying yourself here at the Velodrome, or if you're online and enjoying the stream, bringing the action to you, make sure to leave that thumbs up and a subscription. We are trying our absolute best to improve everything we can for our services online so folks can tune into the action from wherever they're at. You can help us by getting that subscription, hitting the bell, and sharing the video on social media with your friends, family, coworkers, or anyone you want to annoy with your posts. The whistle is sounded for the start of the race, and we've got 10 to go. Mike Darlene to the front of the field. Ben Flom on an effort here. Moving things along pretty quick. The rider for Fell Swoop in the black and orange is indeed accelerating well early on in the race. Seeing 8 to go. Number 328 on a nice attack. Mike Robson making his way up